think the last one I did was Apple's 1984, and this one, in case you're wondering, is about 1996, the year that Pepsi just threw everything at the fucking wall.
Okay. Good to know.
But there's one thing particular that this episode is going to be about, and we're going to get there in about 2 paragraphs.
Oh, my.
Once I read and introduce this goddamn show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, hey everyone, this is Dying on a Hill with me, Charlie Garcia. By the way, I call myself Charlie Garcia. I already hate it. I've already been over with Trevor with this. It's a tragic decision I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. But with me today
it's Brandon Garcia. It's very awkward.
Oh, you changed your name too?
Yeah.
Our mothers had sex with the same fake name.
She loved that name so much.
Hey, what do you know about the Cola Wars? Brandon.
Aside from Judge Dredd, nothing.
Okay. Well, that's obviously a future projection of what the Cola Wars could have, and the effect they could give.
I like that you say could have. Like they could aspire to go to war one day.
Because they're not done by no means. So Pepsi and Coca-Cola and any possible upstart that may come and die in the wake of those two.
We're still in the pre-log stages. Yeah.
Right now, in the Cola Wars term of things, we're still pretty much like Great Britain and France. There's going to be some other countries coming in. There's going to be insurgents. There's going to be tribal warfare. It's going to get nuts. But right now, in 1996, it's mostly just Coke and Pepsi. Now, what do you know about the inept Cola Wars?
Oh, so much. I mean, where do I start? The beginning, there's a middle, nothing. I don't know.
All right. Well, the year is 1995, and a leading carbonated drink maker, which I don't know why I wrote that.
Hey, if they're the leading, they're the leading.
Yeah. Coca-Cola reported that it was roughly 35% of the market share against Pepsi's 31% of the market share. So Coca-Cola was winning. Pepsi was losing. You know how much money Coca-Cola was spending on advertising per year?
I do, but I want to hear you say it.
Okay. It was $83 million.
Oh, my God.
Pepsi spent $1.7 billion.
Wow.
Now, to be fair, Pepsi has a really diversified portfolio of Taco Bell and KFC and Lay's potato chips and all that shit. So, that is inflated for sure. But they do consider Pepsi, the soda Pepsi, to be their number one moneymaker. So it's probably safe to assume that out of $1.7 billion, they probably spend the most money on Pepsi.
Okay.
The drink.
Yeah.
I
would say it's safe to believe.
Now, in the early 90s, Pepsi wasn't really doing that well. They had these slogans called Gotta Have It, which, what do you think of Gotta Have It, Pepsi?
Well, I mean, how can you argue with that? It's like, very well, sir. I will indeed have said drink.
Well, here it is.
It's very cut and dry. I like it. Yeah.
They don't even charge you. They just hand you the Pepsi. And they're successful people are drinking Pepsi.
I don't need reasons. I don't need facts. They just let me know, gotta have it. I respect that.
Which kind of makes you think that Pepsi is so cheap. Like, it's so cheap. How is anyone making any money?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, we're talking about pennies, right? It has to go through so many. We're going to get to that later. Sorry. The other slogan they had was be young, have fun, drink Pepsi.
I feel like that's something you yell at old people on the highway when they're like driving. You're just like, be younger.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Drink Pepsi.
Just drink it. That sounds more like a threat.
Yeah. And the successful one they had before was choice of a generation. Choice of a new generation. Sorry. Anything can.
Like babies.
Racism was the choice of a generation.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That slogan, by the way, choice of a new generation, is actually, just fun fact, it's owned by an oatmeal company now. That CEO used to work as like an underling at Pepsi, and he just noticed that Pepsi never renewed the trademark. So it just went back. And he was like, I'll buy it.
It's a oatmeal. I feel like the original one was like the choice of the last generation.
Yeah.
Oatmeal.
There's not a lot of new market for oatmeal.
No.
I mean, I eat oatmeal, but that's because I drank too much in my 20s, and
So you got to eat oatmeal now.
That's it. That's all I could eat.
Okay.
I'm just stuck in a sort of Soylent Green existence.
Your body is a medical wonderland.
Oh yeah, it's more of like a medical minefield. You can relate.
Yeah, that I can. That I can.
So worse yet, Coke was sponsoring the Olympics in Atlanta in 1996.
Where all people go for athleticism.
Exactly.
Atlanta.
They pay. Yeah, rally car racing has to be an athletic sport, right?
Which one is that?
Or no, demolition derby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Rally car racing. Like, do they just cheer on cars?
Yeah.
You can do it, Volvo.
But they paid hundreds of $millions to sponsor the Coke Olympics, and then they also made Olympic Town, this part of downtown Atlanta that they just kind of bought and developed and put a bunch of tents and shit and just like made a bunch of interactive games to play with for you to like shoot basketballs with Grant Hill, and like it's like, but it's not really Grant Hill. Grant Hill is not like shooting threes at the Olympics with like thousands of people. I mean, he had terrible ankles.
It'd be great if it were like an impersonator, like D-list athletic impersonators.
Yeah, and he's definitely not the height of Grant Hill.
Yeah, it's just like an old PE coach.
Yeah. All right, kid.
Yeah.
Come and play with Grant Hill.
I'm Matt Hill. Let's do this.
And then you could like sprint with people on a screen. It was all just athletes projected on.
You can
screen.
fake run with people.
Yeah, you could like there would be a pitcher and he would like throw the pitch, and it would just get shot out of a.
This just sounds like the most like depressing theme park.
Right. So Pepsi really had to step up their game.
Oh, I mean, when you set the bar.
And so that's what brings in this commercial. You remember this?
I don't.
Oh, leather jacket, only 1,400 Pepsi points.
Oh
Shades,
my God, that's right,
only
Pepsi points.
And what is this? What is this cool kid showing up to in school? Just rocking everyone's world, including his bald, lame professor.
Wait, why does he have no pants?
Because that guy blew him off with his Harrier fucking jet, man.
I'm just confused about the pants. I mean, like, everything was on him except pants.
Because there's a Harrier jet. That's,
And he didn't have enough Pepsi points to get a belt.
Now, like most competitions, no purchase was necessary, which means you submit a couple of points and then you write a check that is equal to the points. It's basically $1 per point to the thing that you want to buy. Enter John Leonard.
Oh, Johnny. What did you do now?
A self-described business student who got $700,000 from investors to submit for the actually $33 million Harrier jet.
The one for the commercial?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
There's a problem with that. The Harrier jet was not in the brochure to get. It wasn't in anything but the commercial.
I would imagine not, no.
So, wouldn't you believe me if I said that? Of course he sued Pepsi.
This day and age, yes. Yes, I would absolutely believe that.
So here's the court filings. Because, of course, they're available.
Did it say in the commercial, like, how many points the jet was?
It was worth 700,000. It was like 7 million points or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 700,000 points.
Right.
Yeah. And then I think they changed it to 7 million points, like, afterwards.
Right.
Because they were like, 700,000 is ridiculous.
No one will ever get this many.
But the guy was like right to think, oh, I just got to raise $700,000 and then I can sell this Harrier jet on the black market for a couple million. Sure, I can do that.
Foolproof plan.
It's a sound investment, really.
I respect him.
Like, if I was a dentist, I would have definitely signed that check.
Oh, absolutely. I would have gotten all of my friends together like, we are getting a jet.
Who wants to go to Vegas vertically?
Yeah.
Because it's a Harrier.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Harrier jet?
Like, do I remember it as an object?
Or
my run-in with a Harrier jet?
Well, when I was a kid, I used to like jets, and I just assume everyone liked jets. And I remember the Harrier because it was the only jet that could take off like a helicopter.
Okay.
Vertically.
I liked pudding. Like, I was really into that. So we had different childhoods.
Apparently. I mean, I liked pudding too, but here's the thing. We were not broke enough to not buy pudding snacks.
Mm-hmm.
We were too lazy to buy pudding snacks. And so we would buy the instant pudding. Like, we were stubborn. We were stubborn people.
Wait, the little boxes of pudding?
Yeah, we would buy the boxes of pudding.
That requires more work.
I know. But we're like, oh, you get a whole bowl full of pudding for $1.
True. Yeah.
But and like, I don't think we were that broke, but we did that shit. So maybe we were broke. I don't know.
You were secretly dirt poor. You had no idea.
Never felt it.
Thanks, Mom.
In our rental home.
Yeah. Which was made out of cardboard. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I got a mold infection, I think.
Another family always lived with us.
All right. Inspired by this commercial, plaintiff set out to obtain a Harrier jet. As you do. Plaintiff explains that he is typical of the Pepsi generation. He is young, has an adventurous spirit, and the notion of obtaining of a Harrier jet appealed to him enormously. Plaintiff consulted the Pepsi stuff catalog. The catalog features youths dressed in Pepsi stuff regalia or enjoying Pepsi stuff accessories, such as blue shades, as in you need another reason to look forward to sunny days. There's there's weird parentheticals in here. Yeah. I feel like the lawyer's having fun.
I feel like also the lawyer was sponsored by Pepsi, and this was a Pepsi court case.
Pepsi teas. A bag of balls, 3 balls, 1 bag, no rules, apparently.
It's very important.
A Pepsi phone card, call your mom, it said.
He was just typing it up and secretly wishing, man, I wish I could get that. God, 3 balls in 1 bag, man, that's a good deal.
Damn, I should have gone for the bag.
God, this guy's so lucky. I love his adventurous spirit.
And in total, there were 53 items of Pepsi stuff merchandise redeemable for Pepsi points, and conspicuously absent from the order form is any entry or description of a Harrier jet.
So conspicuously.
So the lawyer was like, hey, asshole.
Yeah.
This wasn't in the catalog. The catalog's the thing where you go to find out what this is. You are an idiot.
Yeah.
But the man's argument was that he's typical of the Pepsi generation.
Oh, my God.
Therefore, he wanted a Harrier.
They probably even asked him at one point, like, Doug, you can't put that word in there. It's like, I'm putting typically in there somewhere because he needs to know.
All right. So in response, Pepsi said this. The item that you have... these are emails, actually. So these are emails from the court filing. So this is him being like, hey, where's the fucking Harrier jet?
Right.
And here's Pepsi. The item that you have requested is not part of the Pepsi stuff collection. It is not included in the catalog or any order form and only catalog merchandise can be redeemed under this program. The Harrier jet in the Pepsi commercial is fanciful and simply included to create a humorous and entertaining ad. We apologize for any misunderstanding or confusion that you may have experienced and are enclosing some free product coupons for you to use. So they're like, hey, look, we were having a goof. Here's some free Pepsi.
We're just goofing on you.
And here's what here's Leonard's response.
Oh, Leonard.
Your letter of May 7th, 1996 is totally unacceptable. We have reviewed the videotape of the Pepsi stuff commercial, and it clearly offers the new Harrier jet for 7 million Pepsi points. Our client followed your rules explicitly. This is a formal demand that you honor your commitment and make immediate arrangements to transfer a new Harrier jet to our client. If we do not receive transfer instructions within 10 business days of the date of this letter, you will leave us no choice but to file an appropriate action against Pepsi.
Oh my God.
That's an escalation.
Yeah, he found those 2 balls in one. His nuts.
Yeah. It goes back and forth even more. God.
I would have just harped on the fact that, like, okay, you want to get it from the like, did they say in the commercial, like, and you can get a jet?
They're like, Harrier jet, 7 million points. They listed the points under it.
I would have said you get to, like, see one. And then just gave him tickets to, like, go see an air show. I'm like, well, the commercial didn't say how you'd get it.
Would it? All right, so since the commercial didn't actually say it was like a functioning Harrier jet.
If he's going to base all of his claim off the rules of a commercial, I would say, okay, well, the rules of the commercial are you get to see a Harrier jet.
So the thing is, like, this went to court.
Oh, my God. Of course it did.
No, it went to court. And it went to court in 1999. And it was eventually dismissed for Pepsi. And then Pepsi said, hey, guy, you got to pay our lawyer fees, by the way. And so then, instead of dropping the case like he wanted to after being exhausted, he actually got pressured into trying to win the case.
Oh, my God. He's like, that's the only way you're going to be able to pay us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was no way he was going to be able to afford his lawyer or the Pepsi's lawyers or any of it. So he was like, I guess I got to try this.
Yeah.
It didn't go well.
I would imagine not.
Yeah, I tried looking up what he's doing. Can't find it. Apparently a business student from Florida, they don't make much of themselves.
Well, what are you going to do?
I mean, especially when his grand scheme was like, imagine being an associate or a coordinator, or you're like an assistant. You're only 2 years into the job.
Yeah.
Because this got settled in 1999. If he was a business student in 1996, he was probably either in his first or second year of a job. How do you explain that time off?
Hey, guys. Quick recap. Still in courts with, Pepsi, trying to get my jet. Might take a bit longer.
Anyways, I'm going to need some more vacation time.
Like, oh, Leonard.
John Leonard.
John Leonard.
We'll use your phone name. It's so disappointing.
So you get the head shaking John Leonard.
Oh, yeah, I can make one episode out of this. I don't gotta waste a lot of time. It's
All
great.
Right. Yeah.
So just moving right on forward. You know what the next thing Pepsi did to try and move the meter in the year of 1996, where they tried to throw spaghetti at the wall and see what stuck?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
They paid $2 billion to Lucasfilms.
For what?
For the rights to use Star Wars on their cans and bullshit.
$2 billion?
Yeah. Pepsi or Lucasfilms sold to Disney for $4 billion.
Wow.
To be fair, I think it might have been exclusive rights for just perpetuity.
Right.
So that's probably something that they don't even have to list on a year-to-year budget. Like
we just always get to have Star Wars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They probably, it's probably like 100-year contract. And so they, in their budgets on their books, it's just actually an expense that gets taken out like $1 million a year.
Right.
Like something so fucky. Like there's so much shit that happens.
So
like
fucky.
That.
It's so fucky.
It's like, who even knows if that money got paid? I don't know. Like, does anyone really track this shit?
Yeah. Diane, where's that $2 billion check?
Oh, Walt, what are you talking about? We haven't gotten a $2 billion check from anyone, especially Pepsi.
Diane, you've been drinking again, haven't you?
Of course I am. It's the choice of a new generation and Jack Daniels.
And that is how Jack and Pepsi was born.
Yeah, Jack. It's Jack and Coke, right?
Yeah.
So then, what would just be Jim Beam?
Jim Beam, give me a Pepsi Beam.
So it was created as a tie-in for the promotional thing with the whole re-release, where they added a bunch of shit they didn't need to add, and then for some reason put the Jabba the Hutt thing in there.
Jabba drinks Pepsi.
He does. I think there might have been a commercial actually where Jabba the Hutt was drinking Pepsi.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh, of course there would have been. But that more or less kicked off like the huge entertainment buy-in thing of like McDonald's and Taco Bell. Taco Bell's owned by Pepsi, so that's the reason why anytime anything comes out, especially from like WB, it's just immediately on a Pepsi something. Like I remember fondly the Batman Forever Pepsi
oh my god,
cups.
yeah. That was the Batman with nipples, right?
Oh yeah, one of the two.
Yeah.
It was the Clooney.
Oh, that's right. And little whatever his name
Chris
was.
O'Donnell.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. Chris O'Donnell was Robin.
Whatever happened to him?
He's on NCIS New Orleans.
Oh.
And apparently he has like 8 kids.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really he's a Jesus guy and believes in just dropping that seed.
Gotta sow those fields.
Yeah, the oats.
Yeah.
He's got to keep harvesting.
He's good at one thing, and it's not acting.
He comes home and he just wears a farmer's cap and sucks on a straw and just tends to his pregnant wife as if she were a field.
He comes home, then he comes home.
Hey.
Of course, I'm not.
Oh, I gotta till today. What? Oh.
Honey, we live in a 2-story apartment.
Oh. But still not done with that either. I read that they spent $500 million rebranding themselves.
Pepsi?
Yeah.
Okay.
They spent another $500 million doing a new can.
Poppycock, this can is disgusting.
So they went from the E.T. Pepsi can.
I think I remember that, yeah.
Into the, what I can only call the Backstreet Boy Pepsi can. It was all blue. Britney Spears was all about it. It had a little like weird like sheen to it. Because like, you know,
I think I remember
that's what
this.
kids liked back then was shine.
Didn't they do that commercial like the ba 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 ba
Oh,
ba ba?
yeah.
Yeah, with Britney Spears.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I forgot that was a jingle.
I'm a Pepsi guy.
Oh man. I got the right guy.
Yeah. Just give me Taco Bell, Pepsi. Let's do this.
You know, I do remember your fond, I was going to say farewell. Your fondness for Taco Bell.
Love it so much.
Have you ever tried making your own quesadilla with the like a homemade Taco Bell like sauce?
I haven't.
It's great. You just do mayonnaise and then chipotle sauce.
Ooh.
And I think maybe lemon and some like pepper and salt and garlic powder.
You've just rocked my world.
Yeah, maybe a little paprika too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And like you do that, it's so like I love the Taco Bell quesadilla. I think it's one of the best fast food inventions.
A masterpiece.
It's fast, it's cheap, it has so much flavor, and there's not enough of it for it to really make you want to kill yourself after you eat.
No.
You can feel the wave coming, but then it ends.
I feel more powerful after I feel like I've attained more mass.
Well, you have.
Well, I have, but like in a good way. Like I will devour the world.
Thank you.
Sponsored by Taco Bell.
And the chicken's like, it's cut small enough that you don't realize it's awful.
You can't choke on it when you're like hoarding it down your throat.
Right.
They want streamlined chicken pieces.
And for everything that Del Taco does right, they don't do the quesadilla right.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever will because they just don't have it in them.
They just whimper back like, we succeed, sir.
You got to commit to that fucking quesadilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's legit. That's how they made all their money for their rebranding.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know how. I guess I wanted to say how much I love the quesadilla.
It's so good.
So a part of that was painting a Concorde jet or wrapping a Concorde jet blue.
I can't imagine where this is going.
They just painted a Concorde jet blue. But because here's the thing, the Concorde jet was a supersonic jet that transported people across the Atlantic. It had to reach 2.0 Machs or whatever in order for it to like actually be worth doing because it's expensive, but it was a 2-hour, 3-hour flight across the Atlantic, so the super rich did it all the time.
Yeah, go hard or go home.
For this Pepsi jet, they could only do a 1.7 Mach, so they had to go, I don't know what that is, like 15% slower, which actually is probably exponential because that's how that shit works. I don't know, like with sound, you know, like
those
you have
do
to yell
sound like
twice
science
as
words.
louder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And after 12 weeks, the paint just like kind of scraped off of it.
It like slowly starts peeling back as they're flying.
Yeah. So like it needed a specialty paint. They covered it over, and it just kind of ran away. And $9 million.
I feel like they should have done like had a reveal, like something underneath it, and as the blue comes off, like the new quesadilla by Taco Bell.
Oh. In 1997, that might have been the time.
They should have hired me.
Should have. God damn, that quesadilla is delicious.
So good.
Do they even have a beef quesadilla, or is it just chicken?
You can get a steak quesadilla.
The steak quesadilla. Okay,
Yeah.
It doesn't go as
welcome, Taco
it's not
Bell.
as good.
Oh
right?
no, it's all about that fake chicken-like substance.
Yeah, it's got grill marks. It must be real.
Yeah, I can't even say like I like getting it with their yellow sauce. I can't even say nacho sauce because I don't think there's any cheese in it, but it's so good.
Oh, I mean, there's cheese. There's got to be cheese. There's got to be too much cheese.
Too much cheese. We've reached the pinnacle essence of cheesiness.
And then also a part of that $500 million, I guess PR campaign was buying a placement on the Daily Mirror. What? Yeah, the Daily Mirror to turn all of its pages blue.
Okay.
They paid like $2 million for that.
I think they just secretly bought way too much blue ink, and they're just like, guys, we got to do something with this ink.
They did some like Rockefeller shit where they bought like a half of the world's.
We own the color blue.
Look, we bought in bulk. We knew the place where it was mined.
Someone went to too many Costco's.
Look, we're Pepsi. We have connections in Singapore, so we have 85 tankers of blue.
I wonder if there was like a point
That's why they made Pepsi blue. They just had.
Did they?
Remember Pepsi Blue? It was just a blue.
I remember Pepsi, clear Pepsi.
But Pepsi Blue, I think, was the late 90s, early aughts, where it was a blue color and it tasted like blue.
as it does.
You know, like a blue popsicle. I guess it's blue raspberry, right?
Yeah.
So the theory holds up. They bought all the blue.
They bought every last bit of it. I wonder if there was like a color war with like Coke and Pepsi. How Coke's always red.
There totally is, yeah. I think there's a lot of psychology around that, and even more so, Pepsi. The reason why the Pepsi challenge is a thing is because Pepsi tastes better because it's sweeter. But once you buy a Pepsi, you're actually not really likely to finish it. Or what they did is they did a survey of people, and they found that people were less likely to finish a Pepsi, even though their initial taste said it was better. But people were more likely to buy a Coke and then say that they were satisfied by the Coke.
Interesting. There's actually something like that with really rich ice cream flavors. They found that people prefer really rich ice cream with just a bite as opposed to normal flavored ice cream and have all of it.
That reminds me of like when I eat creme brulee. The first bite is the best bite, and then every bite after that is just, again, a shame party.
Yeah, you just spiral.
Yeah, I was like, deserve this.
I liked this a minute ago, but now I'm sad.
And then I just start, you chase the dragon. You're like, maybe this next creme brulee will be
because that's what one does. Just line up the creme brulee, boys.
And the Daily Mirror's son, because they're British, wrote this. A failing newspaper turned all of its pages blue for the campaign, but it has so few readers, hardly anyone will see it.
Oh my God.
The British are savage.
Sick burn.
And in the months leading up to the takeover, they said they weren't doing it, so it leaked, and they're like, "We're not doing it. No, we're not on May 17th."
Yeah, we're just kidding.
Nah. And then when they did it, they made a joke like, "No, it's not going to be like that, but it's going to be red all over." And as a joke, Virgin Cola, like Virgin everything.
Right, yeah.
They ran an ad in the Sun for April Fools advising not to drink soda from red cans. Again, I don't know what.
They instantly turned to 13-year-old girls, and they're just like, yeah, don't do it. It's not cool anymore. Nobody likes Coke.
Fuck these guys.
Yeah, they're so stupid.
You don't like blue? You must be a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And that's not it.
No.
Also in 1996, they made a website called Pepsi World. What was Pepsi World? It was an entertainment hub for music, entertainment, sports, and carbonated sugar water. It's literally how it's described on the website where I did that research, which was a Pepsi. It was a Pepsi dispensary's website. So not necessarily working for Pepsi, but a maybe independent franchise, distributor. Because the way the cola stuff works is that it's not like they Coke has factories, but they also have independent factories that just make their product and then distributors sell it. So they're not necessarily selling Coke themselves. They're just trying to provide inventory for people who will sell Coke.
Right.
So the way factories work is the more factories produce Coke or agree to produce Coke, the more places are going to sell them, because those factories have agreements with liquor stores and drugstores and all those places through their distributors, the people who sell all that shit and file all the paperwork and stuff. Advertising kind of does two things. It is supposed to inspire investors, and it's supposed to inspire the people who have agreed to produce your shit. Pepsi is like, okay, we're just going to throw money at advertising, and that's how these people are going to know that we're actually worth selling, is because we're just spending all of their money.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Coke actually, instead of putting that money into advertising, they just reinvest into the infrastructure of things. I'll get to that much later. But the whole Pepsi World thing, it was just a website that had some Pepsi artists, but none you would really know of. They're basically people who would be forward thinking enough to be able to have an online presence in 1996, but also cheap enough that they wouldn't cost too much.
We've got the world's most affordable talent. Come to Pepsi World.
Yeah. And the PepsiCo's marketing history site called it. Oh, they said Pepsi World eventually surpasses all expectations and becomes one of the most landed and copied sites in this new media, firmly establishing Pepsi's presence on the internet.
That sounds like how you describe when you get a friend a job and they just don't get fired. You know what, buddy? You exceeded all expectations. Thank you.
Not only did you show up to work, but you kept showing up to work. And you know what? You're still there.
And you're clean. Buddy, you're doing it.
People look at you and they say, he can do the work. I can do the work.
Pepsi World.
Well, if Pepsi can do it, shit.
Pepsi can. Anyone can.
And of course, they eventually hit with one thing. I don't even want to play you it because it's dumb. I honestly like the jingle that you sang earlier more than this commercial. But it's the commercial where the Pepsi driver and the Coke driver swap drinks. And then they drink them. And they're like, I guess your drink's pretty good. And they're like, yeah. And then they're like, I guess we're friends now.
I have to see this commercial now.
Okay. All right, here we go. Here's the commercial.
Thanks, Deli. Here's Coke. Woo! What can I get you? Blueberry pie and Pepsi.
Got it. I think I remember this.
Good song.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
See, they like the song.
Yeah.
You can make mountains. Working late on the holidays.
Those ladies are like,
tired of the
those
kids.
dudes.
Yeah.
Both
Guys
of
are
them
adorable.
Both of them are sexually harassed and assaulted.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing
And now they're going to do it to each other.
They're gonna do the thing apparently that men do, I guess. This is what I heard, which is smoosh straight dicks. Oh yeah, I like it.
I love that they're having it be like neither of them has ever had this drink before.
Yeah.
Like in their whole lives, they look like they're in their late 40s. Never has had the other drink.
And then the Pepsi guy ends up liking the Coke guy ends up liking the Pepsi more.
Yeah.
And then they throw something out the window because they're mad again.
Yes. Oh, the rage is happening. Sugar rage.
And what's so funny about that is, and is that first off, that won a Cannes award.
As it does.
Like Cannes film. They have the yeah, that's the
Is
same.
it bad that I thought it was cans?
No.
You could say yes.
I mean, Cannes is like a very. Like,
Is that how you say like the Cannes Film Festival?
I think so. Yeah, like going to Cannes.
I'm going to Cannes. I've said I'm going to the Cannes
Film Festival.
Well,
and this is the second episode I've talked about something that's won a Cannes Film or Marketing Award.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, again, makes me question the merits of a advertising award.
Oh, God, all those are, like, they've all got to be produced and bought.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. Because what's the point? Because the last one we did, it was an ad for a product that failed. And it won all the awards.
Yeah.
And then this one, Pepsi wasted a shitload of money that year.
Yeah.
They wasted billions of dollars on marketing campaigns that didn't improve their market share. They lost more ground to Coke.
Yeah.
They ended up having to buy Quaker Oats and Tropicana and like a bunch of other weird shit in like a what
Tropicana, the sugar of juice.
Like, do you watch Succession?
I don't.
Well, there's a thing where the rich family is trying to buy the other rich family's business to make themselves too big for someone else to buy.
Right.
That's basically what Pepsi did from 1996 up until 2008, where they said, hey, none of these businesses are making money anymore. So KFC and Taco Bell, you're going to be under Yum Brands, and you're not fucking owned by Pepsi anymore. Bye-bye. And because, like, again, most of their money came from Pepsi. It didn't come from all these other things.
Wow. They're like, we will attain so much mass, you will not be able to withstand the power of Pepsi.
And it was all to impress the factories.
Wow. Pepsi just wanted like, we got a big old dick. We just gonna take everything.
And so I like to say that Pepsi lost this round, I guess, of the Cola War because Coke was just honestly better at actual business than what Pepsi thinks business is, which is saying you're good at business.
Yeah.
or just, making you feel something. Like, no. So I have this long thing, and I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
So in 1996, Coke operated at roughly 34,000 employees with an advertising budget that was small potatoes compared to PepsiCo's total business. Now, Coke, rather than buying ad time and wrapping now defunct British aircraft, they began buying actual bottling plants. So instead of having independent people, they said, fuck it, we'll just buy the plant. We'll give the owner a good, they can keep managing it. Maybe we'll give them a share, but we're ultimately going to pay it and buy it, and we're going to start making things more efficient by making these factories more efficient. So by bringing the cost down of producing a Coke, we don't need to spend so much money for people to actually buy a Coke. And they didn't just do that in America. They also did that in Singapore. They did it in Japan. They did it all over the world, where, there wasn't a lot of infrastructure to even do all of this. Like, a lot of clean water sometimes comes from these plants to the neighboring villages.
Okay.
Other times, the water is polluted as fuck because of it. So who knows?
It does. Yeah.
It's as you do.
And then the clean water versus dirty water war began.
And so when Coke started to make so many inroads, the demand for Coke became higher, which means independent factories started producing more Coke too. which then just left Pepsi saying, what the fuck?
Right.
And all they could do was throw money at the problem in the form of advertising. And so in the aftermath, here are the companies that they ended up buying. Tropicana, Naked Juice, Quaker Oats, and then they started the awful, awful, awful purified water craze with Aquafina.
They're the ones that started it.
Yeah, the water that is basically dead and just goes straight through you without hydrating you. Like,
why am I thirstier now?
I just drank a gallon of smart water. Why am I dying? Have you noticed that? You sweat a lot when you drink those.
It's just pretzel water.
Yeah, just like it's
always
down.
weird to me how there's certain waters that just like, if you ask anyone, they'll have a water they prefer.
Right.
And
what's
like
yours?
I think mine is. I like my Brita filter.
Yeah.
I prefer my Brita filter water.
Yeah, I like Fiji water.
Oh yeah, Fiji's good.
It's pretty good.
I don't like Dasani.
No.
Dasani's gross.
Dasani's gross. Arrowhead's gross.
Yeah, it just tastes like there's like something gross in it.
Yeah, and then but Arrowhead like doesn't pay permits for the for the water they take.
Oh, cool.
So they're literally just taking a hose and just filling water bottles.
Hose water bottles.
They're not paying a dime for it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so evil.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Last episode I said who died on a hill. And I think this episode, Pepsi overall, just died on a hill.
Yeah, they're not looking great.
But I think the real guy who died on a hill was John Leonard, who
Johnny boy
took Pepsi to court
and
had to pay their lawyers.
At some point, you need to stop yourself and like, this is getting bigger than I expected.
Yeah.
I'm going to step back now.
And he's made so little of himself. I'm guessing that he had... here's the thing. If you get a business degree in 1996, there should be some newspaper or some website somewhere saying John Leonard, who, funny enough, sued Pepsi once, is a successful businessman here in Tampa owning a rug company or something. That's a lot of time to be successful. I couldn't find a fucking thing.
I bet he brings it up on dates though. He's just like he's like, yeah, I don't like to brag, but I took Pepsi to court. Yep, that's me. I'm that guy.
Would they have gotten away with just giving him the prop from the commercial?
The CGI Harrier jet?
Either the CGI or if it was a model.
Oh yeah, or like I don't know what was their video capabilities at the time. They're just like, okay, if this is the hill you want to die on, you can have that jet. And like give him a little toy. I'm like, yeah, that's what it was, bro. There you go.
Fucking camera tricks.
Yeah.
Dummy.
Now where's our money? I'm like, you can absolutely have it.
Look, we talked it over, and we're going to give you the jet from the commercial. Sure.
Yeah, the official hair jet from the commercial.
It's just got fucking Sharpie on it that says official.
Yeah, or just like it's sitting in a base and on a military thing. All you have to do is just go pick it up.
Yep. You got to go sign up for the Army.
Yeah.
Or no, for the Air Force.
Work your way through the ranks.
Yeah, eventually become a crack fighter pilot.
Yeah.
And when it's ready for you, you will be ready for it.
Yeah. I'm always disappointed in their lawyers. They had a plethora of things they could have done. Like, you know what? You got this, buddy. You got this.
They spent $9 million on an aircraft that took 14 trips. And I can't help but think that a lot of Schadenfreude could have happened.
Oh, so much.
With that money.
Yeah.
We need to have more pranks in our advertising.
Where are the pranks?
Which, by the way, is going to be an episode. Video games have the worst advertising.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you're a gamer.
Oh, my God,
Yeah.
yes. I even think they're all ridiculous. There was one game, it was an advertisement for, like, I thought it was for a car commercial. And then I was like, I still don't even know what the game's about, but I need a car now.
Oh. No, I mean, like putting dead body parts in London with little Post-its on them for Resident Evil.
Oh, God. Oh, those publicity stunt things that they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much research I can do into them because sometimes there's a campaign that does really well and a lot of people take credit for it. And sometimes campaigns just shit the bed and no one talks about them ever again.
Yeah.
Which happened with me. Like, I like making jokes about the shitty campaigns I've done, but at work it's literally like, when this campaign is over, because we already know it's failing. Like, we're in the midst of it. We get it. Now it's done. Okay, never talking to it again. Never just... I had to deliver... We spent $3 million on this one movie, and it fucking bombed. It had one of the lowest per theater averages of all time. It had one of the lowest openings of any movie, from 1,500 to 2,500 seats or theaters. It broke a lot of records for being shitty, and we had to and it owned my life for 5 months.
What movie was this?
Oh,
are you not allowed to say?
I probably shouldn't.
Could I guess it?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to say if you're right or not. I'll give you a wink if you're right.
Okay. When was this?
This was last year.
Or was it X-Men Dark Phoenix?
No.
Oh,
but
you
wouldn't be surprised how close you are.
I don't know, I've seen a lot of bad movies.
Yeah, you haven't seen this one.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I'll tell you this. You can find it on Amazon Prime.
Wait, is it my movie?
No, your movie's great. Everyone, go see his movie.
Yeah, go see it. I spent no money on it.
Oh.
Except it was sponsored by Pepsi.
Maybe next time.
Yeah. They own us now.
They might go for it.
I would let Taco Bell own my stuff. Oh, absolutely. They do it right.
I wonder if they buy into PR like that.
They should.
I know people get, Taco Bell tattoos. I mean, it doesn't mean Taco Bell pays for it. But
yeah. I thought, there was that Hunger Games movie. You know how there's the dude in it called PETA?
Yeah.
Someone cut a video together with every time Katniss, the girl in it, says PETA, someone holds up a PETA. And I was like, oh, man, Taco Bell should sponsor that. Introducing a new PETA Crunch. Well, no, I guess PETA's Greek.
Yeah, but it's all just flour on a hot rock.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
Hot rod flour.
Like, the majority of humans cooking is just
hot rocks with flour on it. Delicioso.
I've been watching a lot of primitive technology.
Clearly.
My YouTube thinks I am on the verge of being an alt-right person. because I watch a lot of primitive technology and occasionally a Joe Rogan episode.
They're like, are you ready for the apocalypse like, or the second coming of Christ?
My God damn it. No. It's all just cooking and then what to do when the race war happens.
I have every shade in my makeup kit. I will be ready for any race.
YouTube, I feel like you don't know me at all.
What are you trying to tell me, YouTube?
But that's the episode. Thanks for coming on. Do you have?
Thanks for having me.
Like we said, you have a movie.
I do.
That's on many streaming platforms.
It is. We're on the CW right now.
What?
On what coast are we?
The West Coast.
We're on the East Coast. It's the midnight movie on the CW.
Oh.
I think it plays like once a month.
That's fun.
And we're still on Amazon Prime.
That's great. I remember being a kid and remembering just how random and like consistently some movies would play late at night.
Yeah.
So your movie's one of those now.
It is I definitely have a midnight movie now. It's a little weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's called First Period. Check it out.
It's very funny.
Yeah, super
and
fun.
You made it for no money.
Exactly. We did not die on that hill.
No, thank God.
Yeah, right?
It still caused a lot of problems.
Yeah, it did.
But you're doing great.
I am doing fantastic.
All right, well, thanks for coming, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have you back. And it's got the I guess we should be friends guy in it. Like, he's the prototypical end of the movie. Well, I guess we ought to be friends then. I think he was in Tommy Boy or Home Alone, maybe both. I think he was in a lot of Chicago area things.
Were they just trying to like, hey, we should get along? I wonder if that means they like both paid for the commercial.
Like
they went
don't
splitsies?
think so. I think they made an agreement that they could use them as long as it wasn't saying which one was better or not.
Right.
Kind of like when movies agree to put Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Warner Brothers and Disney had their lawyers literally measuring with the stopwatches and rulers how much screen time their characters were getting, because they didn't want Bugs Bunny to get any more, or Disney didn't want them to get any more screen time than Mickey Mouse, and vice versa.
Oh, interesting.
So it was like a big clusterfuck.
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of. I think that what was the there was that big feud with Desperate Housewives show ladies, in all their advertisements, they would actually measure down to the letter, who was more center focused in the picture, who was larger, how many words they got in each episode.
Man, I'd like to think that when you get to a certain level, you don't care about that.
Yeah.
What is this? Why are there videos about Pepsi truck driver expectation versus reality?
Is that a big dream goal?
I guess why are there so many videos of truck drivers for Pepsi? What is this?